Prismverse's Clash introduces an exciting new PvP gameplay mode in Once Human, offering a more concentrated battle experience with a focused objective. This marks a departure from the previous Evolution's Call scenario. While PvP may not appeal to everyone, those who thrive on player-versus-player combat will find much to enjoy in this fresh scenario. As server resets loom on the horizon, players must decide which scenario they'll embark on next. If you're drawn to large-scale faction battles, here's everything you need to know about Prismverse's Clash. Prismverse's Clash is the second PvP scenario in Once Human, built around the concept of faction wars. Unlike Evolution's Call, which focused on warbands battling for territory, this scenario introduces a new dynamic. Players must choose between two rival factions, Rosetta or Mayfly. Once you've chosen a faction, there's no going back. The scenario takes place in the eastern region of Nalcott, the same area used in the Primeverse and Evolution's Call scenarios. Each faction starts in its own base of operations, with a neutral zone located at Chalk Peak serving as a safe area. Beyond these, all other lands fall under conflict zones, where players can freely engage in battles with members of the opposing faction. The main objective of Prismverse's Clash is for players to gather prism energy by capturing prism deviations. This is achieved by establishing bases in conflict zones and placing these deviations in containment units. Once contained, the prism deviation is slowly converted into a regular one, and the faction earns points. The conversion time can range from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the rarity of the deviation. The faction with the highest points by the end of the scenario emerges victorious. To make things more intense, players can raid the enemy's bases and steal their prism deviations before the conversion is completed, adding an extra layer of strategy and risk to the mode. These prism deviations can be found in the same locations as regular deviations, such as through fishing for electric eels or discovering logging beavers and Digby boys while gathering resources in contested areas. However, new deviations, like the Radiant One and Berserkosaurus Rex, are exclusive rewards for completing public crisis events. As your faction accumulates prism energy, players will be rewarded with star chromes at specific milestones, distributed across 4 phases. Unlike previous scenarios, Prismverse's Clash only has 4 phases, with the majority of the combat concentrated in the first 3. If your faction wins the scenario, each member will receive 9 Legacy of Conflict loot crates. If your faction loses, players will still receive 6 crates. The contents of these loot crates remain unknown for now. Additionally, seasonal goals are still in place during this scenario, offering even more rewards like loot crates and star chrome. As always, the star chrome, cosmetics, blueprints, and other items earned during the scenario are bound to the player's account, allowing them to carry these rewards forward into future gameplay, even after the server wipes.